to the Possibility Perspective with me, Jess. Authentic, bold, and challenging conversations. You'll hear stories from me, conversations with peers, and interviews with experts on a variety of topics, all with different perspectives. Now, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Possibility Perspective. Today, I get to interview my coach, Coach Mel, and she has made such an impact in my life, in the way I approach both my personal self in my life and my belief systems, but also me in business and how those weave together, because believe it or not, those two things are not really as separate as we like to think that they are. She's a business mindset and energy coach, and she helps business owners with their teams reprogram mindsets, take their businesses to the next level, and pretty much everything in between, because she is masterful at what she does. And so without any other introduction, welcome, Coach Mel, to my show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here on with you and see how things are and have a conversation really to help other people really dive into that mindset and make more money in 2025.
Yes. Okay. And so I have two things, but and I want to talk to you about your journey into entrepreneurship and being a business coach. But I want to actually, before we even go there, because that was a mindset block or a belief system block that I had to clear first off, was even just not feeling weird about saying that I want to make money.
Yeah. So my journey started in 2019, kind of when COVID hit. I was really not happy where I was at, and I felt like I was being pushed to kind of find my purpose in life. And I started out of just diving into myself and energy work, and then it kind of led me to a manifestation course, which led me to a life coaching course. So I started as a life coach and energy psychologist. That's where I started, and I opened my business part time right after I finished life coaching. I was like kind of pushed to just do that part time, and I still was working a full time job. And so it was a year and a half later where I was working two jobs and working 16 hours a day. And I was like, I have to choose 23 years in corporate at six figures, or do I start a brand new entrepreneurship thing, never being a business owner by myself and taking a leap of faith and doing what I'm passionate about? And so I did it. And I left my job almost 3 years ago, and I really dived into the business part of it. And I kind of switched from life coaching to business coaching, just investing in mentors and seeing how I can help entrepreneurs get their mindset right to help humanity and help others in their service. And that's kind of what I do today.
I love that. So what do you think was the biggest fear obstacle that you had to overcome to make that leap?
I think it's the conditioning of I was conditioned that I had to work a 9 to 5 job. I had to have benefits. I had to have 401k. I had to work really hard. And having the stability of me just getting that paycheck and then me having to more of how do I get that paycheck for myself? So there's a transition of do I leave stability of what I know and what I was trained to believe, or do I serve something that I believe will make me money? And it was scary. It's very scary to start entrepreneurship, especially after 23 years in corporate and and you're in your late 40s, you're just kind of like, do I do this? And then it kind of just came into fruition and I kind of was just pushed to do that. So that's why I do what I do today.
And you follow a lot of spiritual manifestation, intuitive principles in what you do, because it sounds like that's when you say you were pushed, I'm
Yeah.
feeling that there was an intuitive calling there for you. Yes?
Absolutely. So when I finished my life coaching course, and it literally took me like 4 months, and it's like a year course, I literally just got to it. I wasn't doing anything. We're in lockdown and COVID, right? So I was like, I'm just going to get this certificate. And then I heard the calling because that's when my intuitive gifts started to come in of really opening that space that open your business. And I was like, I don't want to open my business. And so I kind of made a deal. I said, okay, if you want to open me to open my business, here are a few things that need to happen. I have to make six figures in because I wasn't making quite six figures in corporate. And I also had to kind of have the people that were going to help me open my business. So a client had a booking person who said she can open your LLC, she can do all that. So that was taken care of. And then 30 days later, I get the president from my corporate office saying, do you want to make six figures? And so I was like, okay, those are my signs. And then that kind of just manifested itself of, okay, getting that stability and then taking that leap of faith. And there were challenges when I started because I had all these things lined up and they didn't come into fruition with someone I was working with. And so I literally had to invest more money of having 5 months of savings into more business coaching. But after that, I just said, I'm just going to do it. I just had to convince myself that I was just going to do that. This was my purpose and this was the road I need to go down.
Yeah. And you had to really work on your belief systems, believing in yourself, right? Like,
8%. Yeah.
I mean, so anyone listening or watching this, I mean, what have you done in your life where, you have this like little thing on your shoulder that's going, "Yes, do it. It's really what you want." And then you have this other thing on your shoulder going, "Ooh, but wait a second. Can you actually do that? Is that the smart choice? Are you being irresponsible? Do you really have the money for that? You have to blah 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 blah," right? You've got these things going on. Talk about that from your perspective and then also what you see, because I'm betting you see that a lot in your clients.
And so that kind of let me do a lot of deep diving. So as, being a life coach and a mindset coach, I knew all the tools I needed to do to make this happen. But I also had to be aware that there were a few blockages that were still happening because negative belief systems don't come from us. They come from negative beliefs of past experiences. So I really had to force myself of, okay, I feel it and I had to validate that, but I had to say, but I can't stay there. If I stay there, nothing's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be stuck in corporate doing something I can do, but it's not something that I can love, that I love to do. So it's really, one, having awareness and then reshifting your mindset to where it needs to be, because you can achieve whatever you wanna do with the right mindset, but you can't do it if there's limiting beliefs holding you back. So I had to, like, really teeter and understand and just give myself that compassion of, "You know what? It's okay, because at the end of the day, I was like, if I do this, I can always go back to corporate if I want to, right? I can always get another job. But if I never do this, will it always be the what if? And I don't want to do that. I don't want to have live without the live with the what if. What if I don't do it? What if I would have done it? That's where I had to teeter on and say 2 feet in the door and then stop being 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense because I feel like that's a trap I've personally fallen into when I'm making a big decision is you've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And, energetically speaking, you're not gonna see the results that you want to see if you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out the whole time. And so we have to be able to get ourselves like either do it or don't, like the what or get off the pot, like go for it or don't, right?
You have to be your own cheerleader of saying, "You know what? There is a reason why this path is in front of you, so it's destined for you." So you have to take a leap of faith instead of, like, holding yourself back. And that's what all business owners do too. They hold themselves back because of that belief system. That belief
Hmm.
system is so ingrained in them that money's hard to get, or it takes a lot to get money, or you have to work so many hours to get money, but that's someone else's belief system, not your belief system.
Let's touch on that a little bit because it's actually something I still currently teeter and struggle with. I'm working on it. I think we're all works in progress. But that particular belief system of and I want to expand upon it. So you have to work really, really hard, work your buns off in order to earn or even let's say deserve the money. And so if it comes easily, there's almost this like weird guilt feeling about, wait, did I really deserve that? Do I really earn that? Let's talk about that because I think that's a huge block for a lot of people.
Yeah. So we have to take money out, period, first. So I always, when I coach my business owners, you always say this: you're earning money as reward, and you're not chasing money. So if you're chasing money to make money, money's running away from you because you're in a lack mindset. Wherever you give energy to, and that lack must manifest whether you like it or not. So say I need to make $10,000 this month. And you're just like, well, how the heck am I going to make $10,000 this month? Where's that going to come from? Do you see all those negativities? Then you have to say, okay, where is that coming from? So I'm going to tell you the way the mindset works. So let's start fresh. Let's start from ground zero. There's a conscious state, which is the right side of the mindset, and a subconscious state, which is your left side of the mindset. Conscious state is 5% energy because we're all energy. Subconscious state is 95% energy. Subconscious state is anything that you're ingrained 0 to 10 and beyond, the good, the bad, the ugly. So, for example, conscious state would look like this: I would like to make $10,000 this month. There's nothing that goes in that. That's just energy. Good energy is an idea, right? then the subconscious state must answer that question. Do you know what it is to make $10,000? Can you achieve $10,000? Does money trigger you? What do we want to feel when we feel about $10,000? And if there's anything negative, that means there's something about your limiting beliefs that are blocking you from making that 10 grand. Now, money isn't just about money though. Money is about self-worthiness. Money is about confidence. Money is about not being a priority before. So some clients are like, well, my parents work too much. Okay, well, now you have an ick factor about money because you came after money. So there's going to be whatever that belief system is stuck in that subconscious mindset. If you don't release those beliefs, then you're going to have money block.
It's so true. It's so true. And they show up in sneaky little ways sometimes when we don't expect it. And that's part of the journey, I think, is learning to be aware of it and open to a new possibility. Because we can all grow, we can all change, we can all heal that stuff, we can shift it, we can move. I mean, that's proof, right? We're sitting here talking today about this because I've worked with you and you've built your business and here we are, right? Like that's
Exactly.
beautiful. It's beautiful the way it works. So I want to talk about a little bit about some like habits around money mindset because you were really helpful to me in this, and I think people can really benefit from like daily habits or affirmations. Like if you're somebody who's like now realizing like, oh yeah, I guess I do have a really negative mindset around money, what are some tools, tips, things that they could do in their day to day that might help?
Well, and what I taught you from the beginning is to do a lot of breath work in the morning, and it's really simple. Doing 5 deep breaths and really clearing that energy from that stagnant energy of fear. And as you really cleanse, I want to say cleanse, but it's almost like release the toxic belief systems of that energy from subconscious dreaming or past trauma, then you start to open yourself to a receiving mode. So a lot of people that have stuck energy, they're not receiving. They're receiving all the things that they don't like because you're manifesting and receiving 24 hours a day. So what are you receiving? If you're feeling good, you're receiving good things. If you're feeling negative, you're going to be tackling some challenges. So really doing that. And it's also you can do affirmations too. So two of the mantras that I say is like do your breath work in the morning as soon as you wake up. So here's what a lot of people do. They get up and they check their emails and they check their texts and they check social media and then they fill themselves with all this negative energy because it's not your energy. So when you really do the breath work and you listen to yourself and you really block the airways, then you are starting your day with intention for you and only you, not of somebody else's belief of you. And then I say, do 2 mantras. And I always say, if you are a manifester, today is an amazing day. Today is, I didn't say was or will be. Today is an amazing day. And I always say, universe, God, source, whoever you attach to, because if you believe in someone higher than yourself, that's law of attraction. Universe, show me how good it can get. I'm open to receiving. There's no ick factor there. And just say, I always say this, surprise me. Surprise me with miracles. Just surprise me. And I can tell you how many surprises come with that when I just like let go and go, just surprise me. So you can do things like that of really just one, clearing your energy, getting really good energy in your body because energy are like wheels. It's kind of like the wheel behind you, the wheel
Hmm.
have open to receive. And a lot of us from childhood, they're blocked like this. And they're just like, why am I not making money? Why am I stuck? Why am I not having time management? Why am I overwhelmed? Is because there's nothing coming in because everything is just stuck in you. So you have to open that to enter that energy to the receiving energy.
So true. And I think that there's a thing that at least I fall trap to, and I hear it a lot too from other people, is we start to think we don't have control because of X factor, because of spouse, right? My spouse lost their job and now it's impacting us collectively. Or my boss at work won't give me a raise. And so that's not my fault. I can't make more money. Or, you know what I mean? We like to do this outward. And so then we're like, victim mode, I'm not in control. What do we do about that?
Well, all of those statements are intentions. So wherever you put an intention, that must manifest. Money's hard to make. No, it's not. That's your intention. So that has to manifest. So money's going to be hard to make, right? Oh, my boss is always that way. Well, that's an intention. So if you change that storyline, your boss would teach you differently. So it's really creating a new storyline you want to attach to instead of the negative storylines that you keep on attaching to. You have to shift that energy because I always say a negative comment or intention and a positive intention are the same energy, they're just a different result. So that's really catching yourself like, oh, it's hard. I go, is it? Is it hard? Or are you just putting your best foot out there and seeing what happens? That could be a different intention.
Totally. And I'll say this, some of the times when I felt really stuck in that and thinking that there's all these outside forces working against me, is if you can, the breath work thing, going back to what you said, because if you can just breathe and open yourself up, like you were saying, the thing is, people, ideas come to you, right? Like it's just these miracle, these surprise me things. It can just be as something as simple as like an idea, a breakthrough, a moment that then gets you to take action to do something else differently. So then these outside forces aren't controlling what's happening in your life anymore, right? And I think that's the thing is we have a lot more power than we think.
Your mindset is so powerful. And as you do that breath work, you're really opening your intuition of receiving things that you didn't receive for, like ideas. And I always say this, if someone is blocked in how do I make money, there's only three things that you need to do. One, get out of all the ideas and thoughts out of your head and write it down. Like what is really, because a lot of people say, I have no time. I go, well, tell me the percentage of time you're stuck thinking about things versus doing things. Okay. Because you're just in a chaotic mindset. So write it down. The second thing is take some intentional steps of now you have the ideas. What are the things that you can do to put action into those ideas? But then the third thing is the most important thing. What is your belief system? Do you believe you can achieve that? And that's where the game changer is of that belief system, because that is going to either break, make or break your ideas for them to come into fruition.
It's so true. I mean, we can have all these ideas in the world, but if we don't really believe in ourselves to be able to achieve it, then of course, it's not gonna happen. You have to be able to believe in yourself. And that is, I think that's the key to hiring a coach or getting help, because the thing about that is, I don't think we're meant to work on that alone. It's not supposed to be this thing and this internal struggle that we sit and we can't ask for help about, right?
Exactly. And it's important if you are a business owner and you want people to invest in you, guess what you have to do first? You have to invest in yourself because you only can attract what you are. So if you're not willing to invest, and I mean, I invested 25,000 just in business coaching because I was just like, just I can afford it right now. It's in my savings. I really want to do that. And then I just allowed that, mentorship to come to me. But not all business coaches are the same because I do a lot of mindset coaching in my business coaching and really prioritizing what are those steps and achievable steps. So I always say, you want to interview like three business coaches. And I know when we got on the call the first time, you were like, I don't know if I want to do it. I was like, okay. And I was like, that's okay, Jessica. I don't need an answer now. You think about it. But I knew you were teetering at the I'm ready to invest. But you just have to say, okay, let her come back to me. And guess what happened? Then you were just like, I'm going to take a leap of faith. And then you're doubling what you're making a month. It's like it came into fruition very fast for you.
Yeah, because I believed in well, you helped me believe in myself. And that's the gift I want people to understand is it starts with that and everything shifts after you can get on board and be your own cheerleader. Anything is possible. Literally anything is possible. And I know that sounds cheesy and maybe like unbelievable, especially if you're in the stuck point right now, but I'll tell you it is. And not to say that you don't have hard days or bad days or things don't happen the way you think they were going to happen because this is life. We're real people.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the belief at the end of the day has to be there.
And healing is forever journey. What you learn is when you learn how your mindset works and you know what your blocks is, it's really easy for you to reframe your mindset really quickly. So you're not stuck in that energy of, okay, now it's 3 days later and I still feel like crap. That's what we're not trying to do. We're trying to say, let's feel it, let's be aware of it. Now let's change to a different story. So it's just really shifting your mindset to, I don't want to feel this way. I rather feel this way. And then put your intention and energy there.
Exactly. And I just want to kind of highlight what you just said because this isn't about toxic positivity and pretending like nothing bad ever
Right.
happens.
Yeah.
That's horrible. No, like acknowledge it. Yep, that sucked. Okay, feel it, move through it, move on. That's the
Exactly.
thing. You don't have to stay stuck
Yeah.
there in the yuck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stuck in
And
the yuck.
the ick factor, I always say. And it's really, that's why it's important for a lot of people to have mentors, because we ourselves can't see that. And that's why I took the life coaching course, so like the mindset coaching and the energy coaching. It's like, why don't I know what's wrong with me? And it
Mhm.
was like, 40 some years later where I was just like, okay, I know what's wrong with me because I know where it comes from. I know what the root of the problem is. And all of us have about subconsciously about 10 to 15 storylines that are going around crazy when we want to attract self-worthiness, when we want to attract money, success, even love for ourselves or from others. It's knowing what those storylines are, connecting those dots so you can go, okay, mom's storyline, dad's storyline, inner child storyline. And then how do you want to show up today? Here's my new stories. And the new stories are creating new goals that you know are achievable. That's all they are. And then you put your energy in that and understand that, yes, I need some healing to do in the past. And that's why I love what I do, because we'll take you in that journey of starting to detach from those storylines.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so here's something sort of related to that as you're on this journey, because I've heard people say, be careful about who gets to know or who you let in about these, this personal journey work you're doing because of what they can say to you. So, for instance, I had this happen to me. I was working on myself, working on my manifesting, working on my mindset. And I had a friend say to me, and I don't remember exactly how she put it, but she basically said, really? You believe that's going to work? Because wouldn't you be a millionaire by now if that were the truth?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the time, it really pissed me off. I was like, seriously? Like I'm working on myself and that's what you're saying to me? And it kind of took me down this like real negative spiral. So what would you say to that in terms of being careful of who you share your journey with?
So here's what I say about manifestation. You are connected to law of the universe, whoever you want to attach to, right? Keep that secret between you and them, because until it actually comes into manifestation. Okay. Because if you tell people their trauma story, it's going to come in your trauma story, become your trauma story. So when I just heard what you said, I'm going to look back and say, well, where does she learn that from? Where does she learn that mindset? Because we are not habits that we create today unless you're on a journey of healing. We are whatever our parents and, bullies and teachers from a young age taught us. And then that fear is going to show up when we're trying to protect the people that we love. But sometimes it's negative fear. See what I mean? So her belief system is off because she's never seen things. A lot of people are more logic than allowing things to be surprising you with things that are just out of your control, right? And that's a part of that spiritual of aligning with your higher self, knowing I'm worthy of it, and then I'm just kind of open to all the possibilities of it happening versus that I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Well, those are both intentions. So the intentions of which ones you really believe in must come into fruition. And that's why you have manifested a lot of things. And there's not gonna be not challenges. We all are human, right? But
Hmm.
then you're gonna catch yourself. So when you are triggered, you're gonna catch yourself and go, wait, that's not who I want to be triggered. And then you have to do a different storyline and then
Yeah.
say, but you'll also notice when you work on your childhood trauma, when I work with clients, they go, oh my goodness, I have a lot of friends that when they talk, I just hear their inner child screaming. I go, exactly, but that's okay. Because now you know better. So when they give you the bad advice or opinions or that negative opinions, you kind of can just let that flow behind your back and go, okay, that's childhood trauma coming up. It's just nothing to do with me. You're just triggering them to react to something that they don't believe in. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like this like mental like, no thank you. And no thank you for that opinion.
You're just
Yes.
like boundary energy.
Yeah. And so, really, moral of the story is just be mindful. Be careful who you're sharing that with, especially if you're kind of in a fragile state on that journey. I mean, protect yourself, protect your dreams, protect your belief system because, stay the course.
Exactly. And I want to say for a lot of people that go, oh, well, I had that trauma. I'm over it now. And I go, yes, you are consciously thinking you're over it, but subconsciously, if you're being triggered about something, that is the release. You have to release those. So it's not just being mindful to say, okay, I'll give myself grace and I'll get over the past, is to really release it by understanding why you have it in the first place and why you attach to it. So the deeper understanding, when you can shift through that, will make the bigger impacts of how you move forward successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, what do you think? I mean, from what you've seen, you've worked with quite a few people. What are some of the biggest challenges or even like maybe money manifesting business mistakes you see people making when they're trying to jump into their dreams?
Money is hard to make, money is hard to get. That's it. They don't believe it. So when I work with clients, and we did it for you, I always say, okay, so what is your dream salary for yourself in 2025? And I break it down into three. And I say, what is your dream in 2025? And you're going to give me, so say, for example, your dream is 125,000. And I go, okay, great. Then I'm going to say, well, what are you making now? Maybe you're making 80,000. Okay, that's your minimum. That's what you know you can make. There's nothing that goes in that I couldn't make that. Then your sweet spot is going to be something in the middle. So say maybe it's 100 grand, 100,000, right? The energy you put into that sweet spot is where you're going to put your energy, not in the minimum, not in the dream, because the dream seems too far away. You're going to
Hmm.
put it in the sweet spot. And when you can feel good about something, you're like, I feel I could do that. I feel I could achieve that 100K, then that's what you put your intention to for that to manifest. So it's really creating achievable goals. So you can still have your dream, because who knows, your dream might come into fruition sooner than you want. But you also have to say, am I okay where I'm at making the 80K or whatever that is? Or do I really want to make more? And when I want to make more, that makes me happy. But again, the most important part is this: you're not here to make money. You're here to serve a purpose. Your purpose will bring that abundance in. So take the focus away from money and say, I am a business owner and here's what I offer people that really need it. And this is why I'm passionate. You have to be passionate about what you do. And that passion ignites the momentum of clients coming to you because your energy is magnetic. And then all of a sudden you have all the abundance coming to you. And you're not even focusing on the money. You're focusing on the service. And I feel that's what people really need to teeter off. Don't focus on the money. The money will come. You got to focus on what you're bringing to the table. And if you
Hmm.
really believe in that and you're like, I offer something amazing, then you get the reward for it in money.
I see that. I see that all the time in the clients we work with at the network. It's the one, the ones that are like passion and purpose first and having fun doing what they're doing are the ones that see the biggest and fastest results
Exactly.
over the ones that are obsessed about the I need to earn this by this number, like that so logical left brain thing. Like they're
Exactly.
blocking the possibilities. And I've done it too, so I know.
So as you set your intentions on those salaries, that sweet spot, then you can let it go. You're like, okay, I set my intention. So that then you just focus on how do I be intentional of creating the momentum of the clients now? And that's really where you need to put most of your focus on. Because now that you have a salary, now you have to look at, money mindset could be if you have a service, your pricing. Is your pricing trauma pricing or is your pricing manifestation pricing? Because a lot of people will sell services that are way below what they need to be. And then you break it down again. What do you think you're worthy of? And then people get out of that block of like, well, maybe more people will come to me if, I have a lower price. No, they won't. They'll look at the higher price and they go, why are you so high? Because you bring a value that people believe in and you believe in yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Totally, totally. And then taking aligned action in that because I think, don't mistake what we're talking about right now to say, I set an intention and then I sit on my couch and I never do anything ever again.
Exactly. No, you have to take action. You have to say, what am I willing to do to create those clients that will create my abundance? And take those steps and be very vigilant at those steps and be very consistent and take accountability for those steps. It's
Yes,
really key.
absolutely. So as we wrap up, what's the parting words from Coach Mel, the words of wisdom to anyone in business that might be struggling or somebody who's thinking about making the leap? What do you want to say to them?
You have the ability to achieve whatever you want. You just have to have the right belief system. So, are you ready to change that mindset to align with that dream? That's it.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Thank you for everything you've shared to this audience and to me. You're an absolute gem.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time and being able to like get to other people and just knowing that, we're all here as entrepreneurs to do some great things.
And how do people connect with you, follow you on socials, connect with your website?
Yeah, so my website is soulvibeandenergyhigh.com, and you can actually book a free complimentary call with me if you want to do a strategy call. We'll talk about goals and challenges and find your blocks. And then I'm on LinkedIn as Melissa Acob as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And everyone, I'll link all of that in the show notes as well. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning into the Possibility Perspective. And I hope we've opened your mind to new possibilities today in business. Thanks for listening to the Possibility Perspective on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information about the show, you can subscribe to the podcast. Visit thepossibilityperspective.com.